Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen. Welcome to SecondsOut ReFLEXions. As you probably know by now, we're here every week, 4:30 p.m. on a Monday, to round up the weekend's boxing action. We'll start off in Providence, Rhode Island, hometown of Demetrius Andrade, who successfully defended his WBO middleweight title, fighting in front of a hometown crowd for the first time against the tough but thoroughly outclassed Maciej Seletsky. Seletsky gave a good account of himself in a previous middleweight title challenge to Danny Jacobs. There wasn't much he could do with Andrade here. The American or Cape Verde origins didn't quite put Seletsky away, but he did show the full range of his skills. Talented, switch hitting, awkward, rangy, good fighter, Andrade. After the fight, won, swept every round. After the fight, called out Canelo Alvarez, took a bit of a pot shot at Alvarez's most recent fight against Rocky Fielding, just saying that Seletsky's no pushover like Fielding, and also mentioned Steve Rolls in a similar light, who obviously fights Gennady Golovkin very soon. So he's desperate to fight Canelo to unify all four major world middleweight titles. It's interesting because it's looking more like Canelo is now edging towards fighting a Callum Smith at super middleweight, or most likely Sergei Kovalev at light heavyweight in September. So Andrade, if it is going to happen, may have to wait till 2020. Although even that looks like Canelo might be fighting Golovkin if they both haven't lost in the interim period. So Andrade could be waiting a while. It'd be interesting to see which opponents Eddie Hearn finds, promoter Eddie Hearn finds, to fill the void in the opposite corner when Andrade fights, if he can't nail down a fight with either Golovkin or Canelo. Could Billy Joe Saunders perhaps come back into things? He's up at super middleweight at the moment, obviously, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Then you got someone like Jamel Charlo, fought at the weekend. He beat Brandon Adams on a different show. Clearly beat him, and he's looking for big fights too. So maybe something could be made there. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Also on that show in Rhode Island, Cal Yafai made the latest defence of his WBA super flyweight title. And as he has done in all but one of his previous defences, he was forced to go to 12-round distance once again against the rough, tough Norberto Jimenez. Jimenez tried his best. Yafai was always in charge though. He did suffer perforated eardrums in both ears, which can't have been easy to carry on with. And afterwards he implored his promoter, also Eddie Hearn, to make a big fight for him next against the likes of Roman Gonzalez, Kazuto Ioka, or the one that looks most likely to happen next, Juan Francisco Estrada, in what would be a unification fight. I think Yafai, maybe at the age he is now, I think he's 30, he needs big fights to really get him motivated. He keeps toiling in these defences, mandatory challengers, tough guys from South America sometimes as well, forcing him to go the distance. Is it because he's not motivated? Is it just because they're so tough? Is it because they're quite negative? Probably a mixture of all of them, but someone like Estrada who'll really bring it, top level name. If Yafai beats him, he's in a pound for pound conversation. It's definitely, if he can't get motivated for that, then he should retire from boxing. I'm sure he can get motivated for it, which is why he's been desperately imploring Eddie Hearn to give him that fight. So hopefully that will happen soon. Another show took place Friday night at the legendary York Hall in London's Bethnal Green, and saw what many people are calling a robbery, as O'Hara Davies won a 10-round decision over Miguel Vasquez, former IBF lightweight champion. Most people had Vasquez winning the fight. Davies seemed to injure his rib from around maybe round 4 on the left side of his ribs. He fractured a rib, he said later on. And it seemed like even Davies thought his opponent won. When the decision was announced in his favour at the end, he shook his head, went straight over to Vasquez and lifted his arm as if he felt his opponent had deserved the victory, which you have to give him credit for, if nothing else. He's often been a polarising figure in the past, old OD. But to do that shows maybe a bit of a change of character, or revealing a character that was always there but we didn't see enough of in the past. I watched the fight for my sins. It was a very dreary, drab fight until the kind of last few rounds where Vasquez came on a bit stronger. I thought Davies won enough of the kind of early rounds to make it very close by the end. I wouldn't have had an argument either way. I don't think it's the out-and-out robbery some are claiming. But still, a tough, close fight, just not one you'd want to rewatch. Also on that show, Ryan Walsh once again retained his British featherweight title that he's held since 2015. That was a split decision, but not as much controversy over that one. Again, a lot of people thought it could have gone either way, but no one's screaming robbery, I don't think. Unbeaten Lewis Paulin, well, he's unbeaten no longer, came down from Edinburgh, gave a really, really tough challenge. His punch picking was good, he was fast, he was good on his feet. But Walsh is very economical, he comes forward, he knows when to throw, he knows what weight to put on the punches, he knows when to throw in combination, when to throw single shots. His ring generalship is very good. So I think he probably just did enough, but it was another very, very close fight. And what was a really good show to watch. I'd recommend going back and watching all the fights bar the main event, funnily enough. Now I want to hear from you. What did you think of the big fights over the weekend? What was your favourite fight and favourite performance and why? Let us know. And also, who should get that Canelo fight next? Never mind if he is almost certainly going to fight Kovalev. Who would you like to see him fight? Is it Andrade perhaps, or Charlo, or Golovkin, or someone else? Let us know who you think and why. We'll be back next Monday, 4:30 p.m. for the latest reflections. But we'll also be here Thursday, 4:30 p.m. for FLEXpectations when we look ahead to the weekend's action. And I'll see you then. Thank you very much for your time.